All right. Good morning, everybody. Joe Van Doren here with our virtues pick for today. And I just want to say again that the reason that we do this virtues pick is for us to give us the opportunity to really think about one virtue today, just one, so that we're really focusing on whatever comes up. And as you know, all I do is shake up my phone, the virtue comes up. I look at it, we read it. This is the first I've read it this morning. So, and then whatever comes up for us, whatever comes up in our mind, whatever we're thinking at that time, then that's what we're going to talk about. So let's read the description for our word today. And that word, that virtue that we're going to focus on today is nobility. Now, we've had that recently, but that always tells me that that's something that I need to keep practicing. And so here's the description for it. Nobility is keeping faith with our true value as spiritual beings. It is living up to the virtues, the divine trust within us. We treat ourselves and others with dignity and respect. We speak and act graciously. We choose the moral high road regardless of the cost. If others try to bring us down, we remain steadfast, remembering our true worth. Our sense of decency is our touchstone. The world's temptations cannot divert us from our purpose. We don't follow the path of least resistance. We lead principled lives. We live the good life. So, boy, what a great word, right? And I especially love this first line, and this is what really struck me this morning, was nobility is keeping faith with our true value as spiritual beings. So I don't know about you, but I have a very strong belief that we are all spiritual beings, that we have all of the virtues inside of us already. And living up to those virtues is really just a matter of getting back to being who our true selves are. And there's so many influences in the world today. There's so many things that try to persuade us to do things that are not our true selves. And so we find ourselves thinking thoughts both about ourselves and about others that are not really, on the high road, right? So when that happens, the question is what are we going to do? And what I have found for myself is that when I find myself thinking thoughts, many of them are things that are putting me down, myself. Or when I find myself putting other people down, it's not the way that our creator, our source of life, it's not the way they see, it's not the way the source of life or the universe sees the other person. And it's certainly not the way that they see us as individuals. They see us with pure love and with joyfulness and with and in a state of being that is of possibility. And so when we put ourselves down or we put other people down, we're not really living up to that true self. And so for me, what I need to do many times is to take a step back, take time to meditate, take time to reflect on who I am as a person and who I want to be, right? So that's the reason that in the 4 C's of successful families, and really the 4 C's of successful life or business or anything else that we're doing, clarity is the absolute first thing. And we must be very clear that we have all the virtues inside of us, and some of them are going to come more naturally for us and more easily. Others are going to be more difficult because, we're resisting our true self. And so it's just a matter of remembering those things so that we can bring ourselves back up to that higher, what would you call it? To a higher vibration, to a higher state of being, to who we really are. And so that's what nobility is about. And when we first can apply that kind of thought to ourselves, and that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is just recognizing our true worth and sense of well-being and our who our inner self really is. When we're able to do it for ourselves, then it becomes much easier for us to see others in a light that says, I know that you deserve dignity and respect, that I know that you are a person who has all of the virtues inside of you. And sometimes you demonstrate them in ways that are not, you know, are not very positive, right? So, and we all do it. So that's how I'm working on this. How do we teach our children about nobility? I think the first thing is our own personal recognition of them having all of the virtues inside of themselves, our own recognition as parents that they are valuable spiritual beings that deserve dignity and respect. Because when we get to a place where we're shaming and blaming and we're demanding them to please us rather than please themselves, and I say that from a very interesting point of view, but when we're demanding that they please us versus just themselves, then we begin to tear down that ability for them to think well of themselves. And so when I say about pleasing themselves, I'm talking about pleasing the feelings that they have inside of them to live up to the virtues. And so, as a parent, our responsibility is to teach them about the virtues that they have inside of them, to speak to them in a way that we can acknowledge those virtues so that they can see that they have respect, that they have dignity, that they have responsibility, they have accountability, they have graciousness, they have all of these virtues inside of them. And our job as a parent is to see them, acknowledge them, help them develop them. It's certainly not to put our children down and to make them feel bad about themselves. If you're like me, we had plenty of that ourselves, and I will just tell you that for on a personal level, that it didn't serve me very well. So today we're going to focus on nobility. Nobility about ourselves. We see the good in ourselves. We see what is best about ourselves. We see all the virtues in ourselves. We recognize that we have a purpose, a mission, and we're going to live it. And then we are able to do that with others. And so the quote that was today was from Barbara Harrison, and she said, "Our awesome responsibility to ourselves, to our children, and to the future is to create ourselves in the image of goodness because the future depends on the nobility of our imaginings." And so see yourself as good, see yourself as virtuous, see yourself as that person who is a spiritual being who is living up to the virtues. Wow. That was quite something, wasn't it? And I'm very excited that we had this word today, and because it's something that each of us can really focus on. So thank you very much for being here. Until tomorrow and our next time that we're together, keep practicing the virtues and the 4 C's of successful families, and that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time, bye.